An average marketing editorial campaign is going to cost you anywhere between $5,000 and $250,000 to produce, depending on the size of the production. Last year, I had the opportunity of creating this editorial for Ralph Lauren using AI tools, and it cost me way less than that. In this video, we're going to be discussing how AI is changing the content creation space, not only for content creators, but also for marketing and advertising. And not just that, I'm also going to show you exactly how I created this campaign using AI tools.
A rush of seduction, power, and thrill, captured in a single scent. Polo Red by Ralph Lauren ignites your essence.
Last week, I received a new package from the Ralph Lauren PR team, and immediately I started thinking about what creative direction am I gonna go with this new campaign that I'm about to create. Because ever since I created the last campaign last year, a lot has changed in the AI space. There's been a lot of development with generative AI photos. And not just photos, videos has also advanced a great deal. Tools like Runway ML has made it super easy to create effective videos, especially for social media, digital marketing, and content creation. And here is the part that I segue into some of the advantages of AI creative production, especially for small businesses, because I believe small businesses, independent brands, and independent creators are the ones that are going to benefit the most from this tool. Because if there's anything that I've learned from my years of creating content for print magazine, it's the true nature and cost of it. The traditional method of content creation often requires a big budget, a long lead time, a team of photographers, editors, creative directors, art directors, production assistants, stylists, you name it. I mean, we're talking a couple of thousands here. And while this couple of thousands is not a lot for a brand like Ralph Lauren to spend, small businesses and independent brands just don't have this kind of money to spend on creative production. I mean, some of these brands are bootstrapping, using their savings, borrowing money from family and friends to start their businesses. So many of them don't have the money to spend on creative production. And I think this is one of the reasons why I believe small businesses and independent brands are the ones that are going to benefit the most from this technology if they use it properly. AI has been around for years, but it's only been exclusive to big tech who have used it to design algorithms, design our feeds, and create product recommendations. But I think for the first time, this is the time that the baton has been passed on to us, creators and small business owners, to be able to use this technology to our advantage, to level the playing field, because big tech has been using this technology for a very long time. They've made a ton of money from AI, designing algorithms and products for us to consume. But I think this is the first time we are having access to this tool. And I think small business owners and creators are still a little bit confused on what direction to go with this technology. And this is why I find it so important for me to share some of these videos on ways that I've been using it and ways that I believe creators, independent designers, and small business can benefit from this technology. All right, so let's see what's in the package. So this is Polo Red by Ralph Lauren, and this fragrance is very similar to the last one I received last year. It is described as the fiery rush of ambery woods and invigorating citrus, capturing the essence of thrill and seduction in a single captivating scent. So the first part of this process is to seek inspiration for the campaign that I want to create, because I have some sort of idea, but I need to know the tone and the mood and the feel of the brand. So I had to go to the brand's website just to have an idea of the last campaign they created, so I can digest, the look and feel of the last campaign and try to merge it with my creative input, because I want to create a campaign for the brand, but I also want it to be on brand. And since I don't work for the brand, it's important for me to have some sort of idea to create some sort of brief that I want to use for this campaign. So the first part is going to the website, getting an understanding of what the fragrance actually signifies. And this particular fragrance is said to be woody and spicy. So I have some sort of idea on the keynotes. It also has some specific ingredients like grapefruit, coffee, and cedarwood, which I'm going to be using as the core of this campaign, because when you think of fragrances, you think of smells, you think of notes that are part of that fragrance, and that is what I'm going to be using for this campaign. So next thing that I need to do is generate the visuals that I'm going to be using for this campaign, and that is going to be done using Midjourney. You can use any tool out there, but Midjourney has been one of the tools that I've mastered, or that I'm still learning and keep improving, let me put it that way, over since I think 2 years. And I think this tool is just great. It's very simple to use it to create visuals that you're going to be using for digital marketing campaigns, whether it's social media, digital marketing, advertising, whatever have you. And here is one tip when you're trying to create using AI. You want to focus on one element at a time, even if you're creating multiple videos. Like the video I'm going to be creating is going to be a little bit longer, but I want to focus on one element at a time. And then later, I'm going to try to combine all of these elements in the video, because I see a lot of AI enthusiasts trying to capture all elements in one frame. I think you confuse AI this way. It doesn't know what to create. It doesn't know what to generate. It doesn't know what to focus on. So it's a little bit confusing. So you want to focus on one element at a time, and then later you combine all of these elements for the final video that you're going to be creating. So for this campaign, I'm going to be focusing on 3 main elements, which are also the key 3 notes of this fragrance, and that is grapefruit, coffee, and cedarwood. So these are the 3 elements I'm going to be focusing on while I'm creating the visual assets for this video. All right, so what I need to do next now is to craft the prompts that I'm going to be using in Midjourney. While there are no specific ways to craft your prompt, there is one particular rule that you need to keep in mind. You want to be clear, you want to be simple, and you want to be direct and straightforward with your prompts. Don't be smart. Don't try to use words that are too complicated. Try to describe your prompts like you're explaining to a 4-year-old. I think it's still the rules that apply to prompting. You want to be clear, you want to be concise, you want to give AI enough room to be creative, but you also don't want to give it too much room to be too creative, because this tool has the power to hallucinate and just add elements that you don't want as a part of your campaign. So you want to simplify your words, you want to simplify your texts that you're going to be using for your prompt. You want to be clear, you want to be simple, you want to be straightforward, and that's just the baseline when it comes to prompting. There are no key rules, but I think that is one thing you need to keep in mind when you're writing your prompt. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that, but I'm also going to link a comprehensive video here, a video that I created explaining some of the tips and tricks when it comes to prompting. Personally, prompting is something that takes me a lot of time. I don't try to rush my prompting. Sometimes I'm at the gym working out and I remember certain keywords. I try to put it down in my notes. Sometimes I'm on the street, on the road, wherever, words just come to me and I try to take notes of these words. Then when I get back home, I try to add it as a part of my prompt. So prompting is something that generally takes me a long time to come up with. I have an idea in my mind and then I go by my day. So when I come across words or when I see things on the street, I try to take notes of them. And so there is no one way to create prompts. You just have to find a way that works for you. So now we're gonna go into the actual prompting of the visuals we're gonna be using for this campaign. And we're gonna be starting with the grapefruit. So here is the first prompt I ended up with. Notice how I structure my prompt. Key is to be clear. You want to be descriptive yet simple. You want to instruct AI with enough information. You also don't want to give it too much freedom. Otherwise, it begins to add elements you do not want to wish as a part of your creative asset. So it's important for you to avoid vague phrases or vague words that really don't make sense. You want to be simple with your prompt, and you can always fine-tune it from there if you don't like it, but always start from a place of simplicity. If you're a small business owner, you have a small creative copywriting team, this is the part where you include your team as a part of this process. So AI is not supposed to replace your copywriting team. As a matter of fact, you put the head copywriter in charge of finalizing this prompt and making sure it's on brand, it fits the tone of the message you're trying to get across, because AI is still a tool. It might not necessarily know the nuances and just the little things about your brand. And that's why it's important to add some human elements. So having a copywriter who is an human from your team who can add this process, because then they can make sure AI is getting the message right, using the right words, and using everything that fits on brand for you. In terms of the prompt, I went ahead and did the same for coffee and also for cedarwood. And this is what my final prompt looked like across the board. So notice the structure, notice how I added all the elements I want this visual to capture, but also being straightforward and not giving, vague words that AI doesn't understand, because it's going to reflect in your prompt. So now that I'm happy with all of my 3 prompts, the next thing is to start copying and pasting this prompt into Midjourney. This process normally requires a little bit of tweaking depending on, the results you're getting. And I'm not always afraid to make changes and adjust my prompt where needed, because again, AI is a tool. You're giving it an idea and it's spitting it out for you in form of images. Sometimes it might not be able to get everything exactly. Like in my case, I noticed the color range and the saturation and the hues that I was getting for the grapefruit was actually too bright. So I ended up fine-tuning my prompt up until I was happy with the final images, because I needed it to be a little bit reddish to fit the aesthetic of this campaign. So I had to make changes. I had to tweak my prompt to be able to get the final result that I wanted for this campaign. So don't be afraid to tweak. Don't be afraid to move words around and just change things around up until you're happy with the final result. If you're familiar with Midjourney, this process should be direct and easy for you. But if you're not familiar with Midjourney, I'm also going to be linking an extensive video that I'm going to be adding here. So make sure you check that out. That is going to be my Midjourney tutorial, where I'm going to be sharing some of my tips and some key ways that I think you can use this tool effectively, whether you're generating social media content or you're creating digital assets for your website or even marketing campaign. This is going to help you a lot. So if you are not familiar with Midjourney, make sure you check out the link here for the video. So here are my 3 assets that I generated. These are my final selections for the grape, coffee, and cedarwood. I did struggle quite a bit with the grapefruits, like I mentioned earlier, because the color range was slightly different from what I was going for. It was too bright, it was too colorful. I needed it to be a little bit red, so I went ahead and added, like neon red light to my prompt, because this sounds very direct, like you understand what that means, like neon red light. So by adding that to my prompt, Midjourney was able to compose my image to meet the exact specification of what I was looking for. And this is what I mean by having to tweak your prompt. Don't just take the first result for it. You have to go in there, edit the prompt, add and remove certain words that you think are not making your prompts come to life. Just tweak and adjust your prompt as needed. So this is the first part of my creative processes for creating digital campaign for social media. And if you've made it this far, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be linking the second part here for this video. And in the second part, we're going to be converting the photos into actual videos. And this we're going to be doing on Runway ML, because we already have our assets from Midjourney. The next step is now to convert the photos into actual videos. And this is a fun process. I enjoy creating videos. So if you've made it this far, you might as well want to check this link to watch the next video, and I'll see you in the next one.